Hey guys, Tony here, Black Hills Mommy. This is time for our monthly life update. I would like to make sure that I try to do these consistently every month, but you know what? Truth is, I don't. Life gets away from us. There have been months where I really wasn't sure what to update on. There were things I couldn't update on, so I put it off. Um, yeah, anyhow, I have updates. So if you're new to my channel, I am Tony. My husband Sean and I together, we have 7 children, and that is together, not his, hers, theirs, whatever. That is together. And with that, for the last 2.5 years, we have been on an adoption journey that started with a single profile for a child that was coming from a disrupted adoption. And it has started on this long, crazy, insane journey that I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on that are not all positive. What I can say is that through the amount of training and everything else that we have done, I have seen so much growth within myself. Because when we started this, I know I did several videos talking about foster care and everything else, because the way I grew up was as the birth child in a foster home. That was for the bulk of my life. My parents started when I was 5 years old, and they did not stop until I was actually had been out of the house for a couple of years. And Sean and I were actually engaged when their last placement left. So it's kind of one of those where it was a really long time, and it left a really lasting impact that I did not realize how much of my own trauma I had to deal with, and that I needed to focus on. So that is one thing that this adoption journey has really done for me, is it has really brought all of that to the forefront, made me look at and evaluate things, some of the opinions I had formed, figure out why I had formed them the way they had, and maybe reevaluate them. One of those was doing foster care, because if you've seen any of my other updates in the last 6 months or so, we were matched with a set of siblings who joined us in July. And one of my more recent, I don't know if it was the last update I did or the one before that. A week after being placed with us, the first sibling left because of some seriously major stuff. I'm not even going to go into it because I'm not emotional at the moment. I prefer to stay that way. If you're curious to know what would make me so emotional, I really suggest you go check out that last update video. It should be under my vlog playlist. And anyhow, so that kiddo left 9 days after joining us. It took 7 days for some pretty extreme behaviors, 9 days for them to actually get him moved. 2.5 months later, here we are. It's middle of August, and the other child actually left just a couple days ago. When the first one left, the worker told us that they had to evaluate the sibling relationship and determine what was going to be best for them, because there was no way we could have the first one back into our house ever again. It put the whole potential adoption on hold. We were not technically an adoptive placement at that point. What happened was that they asked us to become licensed as foster parents, which previously we couldn't and wouldn't do. We couldn't because the state of South Dakota has a limit of 6 children in the home, and we have 7 already. Now, our oldest did actually turn 18 last spring, so that took us down to 6, but we're still at that cap. But thank you, COVID. There has been such a need for foster homes that they decided to start allowing exceptions to this rule, because it's a rule, not a law. So they could do that. And with that, they were able to give us this exception so that we could take these children into our home as a foster placement, with the goal of becoming an adoptive placement once certain legal things had been sorted out. And that got us licensed, is exactly what that did. Not for the purpose of doing foster care truly, but to be a foster home just for these kids. So that's exactly what we were. So when the first one had to leave, we were told that we would pretty much just be the foster placement for the other one until they sorted things out. adoption was off the table, but not completely off the table. We were told that if it was determined that it was going to be in the kids' best interest to not be reunited, then at that point they could see about turning us into an adoptive placement. This is, guys, it sucks. It really, really sucks. Unfortunately, while it is my opinion, now I'm not a professional. I'm a professional mom, is what I am. I have done enough training that it turned out we are not just a foster home. We are actually a therapeutic foster home, which does take some specialized training. Some states it's just a matter of a few extra hours worth of training. We have a lot more than a few extra hours. So there is that. There's some extra skill sets that I possess and all of this that made it so that we could become a therapeutic home, which it turns out it was actually what was needed for these kiddos. And so the kiddo that was left behind, who stayed with us, was really, really determined to rejoin his brother. And he made that known to pretty much everybody. Now, he did start to really get comfortable here. And of course, if anybody is familiar with kids from hard places, the more comfortable a kiddo gets when they're still in that heightened mode, the more they're going to flip from comfortable to fight or flight. And he would do exactly that, paired with moments where he was like, no, I am going to go be with my brother. And he thought he needed to act out in every way possible. And we put up, guys, 2.5 months. We put up with a lot. To the point that I actually developed some health issues that are directly related to extreme stress. Pretty extreme health issues. The doctors actually were starting to think I had a form of cancer. And I have had CT scans and the works the last several weeks, and only to come out of it realizing I was just so stressed and overwhelmed that my body was attacking itself, essentially. So, paired with that, we had already, before all of this was coming to light about my health, we knew some stuff was going on. We had already made the decision that, you know what, we can continue to be a foster placement, but I can't do this forever, because this kiddo is pretty determined to leave and doing everything he could. So we let the worker know that, you know what, just keep looking for whatever you need to for the kids. He can stay a foster placement here, but that's going to be it. So when he's ready to go, he's ready to go. And that did change things a little bit, because apparently us saying that meant that they no longer cared about that sibling evaluation. So the goal is just to have the kids placed together. To my knowledge, they're gone. That's so I don't get to know anything anymore. Guys, when I say extreme behaviors, we were prepared for a lot. We trained for a lot. When there are behaviors that are on our no-go list, it makes it really tough, really tough. But we have walls that have to be repaired. We have trim that has to be replaced. We've had furniture broken, many, many toys broken. We've had so many bloody noses, it's not even funny. And I'm not talking from me, from the other kids, as well as so many other scrapes and bruises and just a little bit of everything in that sense. And the mental breakdown, and when I would just keep working with things, and for everything that was done where I had to stay a little more heightened, it was obviously making my stress levels go up a little bit higher. He would push a little bit farther. Well, then when it starts flipping into self-harm, it's another whole level of trying to keep everybody safe. So then I switched to keeping him and everybody safe. So guys, it's not easy. And I have to say this too, guys. These are genuinely sweet kids. They just have had a really crappy time in life. And there were so many fun moments and pleasant moments. But those extremely stressful moments meant that I couldn't let my guard down, even when we were having fun. And so it just really, it all culminated there. So um he moved on to a different placement, and I will continue. Guys, it's one of these things, I will never blame the kids for this stuff. I will be angry at other people in their lives for putting them in a position that brought them to this point in life. But it's one of those, so we've taken a few days now. Our house is visibly more relaxed. My health is going to take a little while to rebound completely. Still having a lot of issues. I guess I should touch on that too, because I mentioned a few weeks ago about, my collarbone, and that something just wasn't quite right. And my chiropractor actually seemed to think that it was broken. Turns out it's actually my lymph system, and paired with some other stuff. So yeah, and I'm still actually having quite a bit of pain through my collarbone and up through my neck. In fact, yeah, maybe it's not showing quite as much, but this side is puffier, which I don't know where I'm at here. You can kind of see it. Anyhow, we're hoping to start seeing that reduce, and I've got some stuff I've got to start taking here. But reducing stress is going to be huge. And okay, so that leaves us as a home with no placements that is licensed. So the next thing that we are going to be debating and discussing is whether or not we're going to actually start fostering. This is something that in the past I have given a flat, hard no to because of my history. And this is where I've had so much growth. And it's been very healing for me to realize how much was actually, I gotta think of the best way to word this here. How much of it was actually caused more so by parenting skills or lack of than actually having foster kids around. And there are definitely some drawbacks regardless. But at the same time, there are a lot of rewards to fostering. And when I was younger, I would tell you all about those rewards. And I had to remind myself to not just be bitter about that. I needed to, when I was younger, I knew those rewards, and I needed to remember that. And I needed to know that some of those drawbacks were, again, actually caused by the form of parenting that was happening. So that is on the table. I don't know exactly what we're doing with it right now. It's something that we're going to see. So we may have more fluctuating numbers. So that is where you're going to have to start watching my grocery haul videos and or the meal planning videos, because that's where I usually say, like this, I actually just did the meal planning video. So I've got the notebook here. So I say, this is to feed our family of 9 this week. But you'll have to catch. In fact, I would love to hear it in the comments down below. Not in this video. I mean, you can do it in this video too. But in those videos, if you catch those number changes. Because my husband and I have 7 kids. So there's 9 of us given. And now our 18-year-old has talked about moving out, especially as she starts her new job. But she's not going to do it until next year. So that works there. So you'll have to catch if I say for a family of 11 or a family of 12, whatever. What I can say is that it will not be above 13 or 14. And I say that because the state is giving exceptions. We actually, because we have a 9-bedroom house and not all of the rooms are used as bedrooms because a couple of the kids share for other reasons. And technically there's this room I'm in now is not even one of those bedrooms either. This is a separate office space. We have a lot of space. Anyhow, because of this, we've got a 12-passenger van, but our 18-year-old typically drives herself places, and if truly necessary, my husband can drive himself places, or just drive a separate vehicle. So I can personally transport 11 people in the van with me. So that means with the 6 kids that would be with me, we could technically have up to 5 other foster kids or whatever in the van. So I'm not saying we will have that many. In fact, I'm thinking if we agree to foster, it will truly be one placement at a time. I am not super interested in having multiple placements coming and going at all times. That in itself is also very stressful for different reasons. And we homeschool. I really have to be able to focus on making sure that all of the kids are getting the education that they need. The ones that are always here and the ones that are coming and going. So there's that. Now, before this video gets too long, one more thing I'm going to touch on. I just mentioned our 9-bedroom house. One thing we've started toying with the idea of is selling this 9-bedroom house. And I don't know if it's going to happen or not. We would ultimately like to build, though at the start of this year, before COVID happened, we had some pretty solid plans to move out of state. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. There's still those minor talks. However, given the political climate and everything else, South Dakota just kind of feels like the place to stay because, guys, we all know that we have had some of the lowest levels of restrictions and everything else. We've also continued to maintain some of the lowest numbers and everything else. So I don't know where we want to go with that until all of this kind of blows over a little bit and everything settles more. Because right now there's still too much dust in the air, especially, guys, I'm not going to go political, but I'm just going to say especially until the election happens. And then at that point, we'll see what happens. So if we stay in state, there is talk of building a house. We've actually looked at a couple of plans. We've actually looked at some lots. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I took a picture from one of them because the views were just amazing. I don't know if that one's going to work out or not. But we tonight actually drove around a few different places. We went back out to our friend's house that has that one. But we also went a couple other places. And guys, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to take a drink while I'm on camera. It's funny. I normally edit that out for some reason. But I need to just, wet my whistle every now and then. Anyhow, so we drove around a few others. And we got some ideas. And trying to get a feel for exactly what we want. At the same time, we know that, this house, it's got a few more projects. But it's only got a couple more things that truly have to be done. The rest is going to be choice. I don't know. So our house may or may not hit the market in the next 6 months. But we'll see. The market out here is seriously booming. And that scares me a little bit. Because back in 07, 08, we did not have the massive boom that everybody else was seeing across the country. We saw a little bit of a climb. But because we're in such a bubble, we also didn't see the burst that so many other people saw that they just started coming out of here in the last couple of years. What we actually just saw was things just leveled off. And then there wasn't a whole lot of gain for a few years. So that's kind of where the market has been here before. We have not experienced that major bubble effect. Right now, guys, we're looking at a major bubble effect because houses are selling easily for $100,000 over what they were purchased for a year ago. And that's pretty significant. Now, granted, we're not having some crazy mortgage companies pushing some really risky and questionable loans, but I don't know. I guess I haven't been following that. Maybe we are. So there's that potential for moving. There is the potential for fostering. The two don't necessarily work together, so one's going to kind of help determine the other at least a little bit. We don't know if we'll stay in state, go out of state. We don't know if we're actually going to build or if we'll just find a new build. We don't know if we could even find something right now because, guys, the housing market is insane. We are not going to renew our home study with Bethany Christian Services going forward. That is something that we were not sure we wanted to do this last spring. And then these kiddos were being matched with us. And we are 100% definite we are not going to do that. If we do foster, going forward here, we're actually going to have our home study transferred to the state, which is something that we have been told is very possible. I feel like it's going to end up being a lot of work, but I've been assured by a couple of people that it's actually not that big of a deal. So we'll see on that. It sounds like renewing our home study come May with them might be a lot easier. And definitely cheaper because we don't have to pay to renew the home study with the state versus the $1,100 every year just to renew the home study with Bethany. Guys, I have a lot of opinions actually on that. But until we are fully out from under contract with them, I'm going to go ahead and keep that a little bit quiet yet, because I think up until this point, I have been pretty careful about not even saying what agency we've been working with, just that it was a private agency. Yeah, so that's where it's at. We are gearing up here. November is a birthday month for us. Most of the birthdays, there's one a month kind of thing. There is 2 in August, Sean and Blake's. But here in November, there are 3 birthdays plus Thanksgiving. So November, December are busy for us because we've got all the birthdays in November and then gearing up for Christmas. Because, guys, I'm a huge Christmas fan. I love Christmas. In fact, we are also going to be painting. We're getting ready to paint the outside of our house just because it needs it, not just because we are talking about selling. And we're getting some more spaces here inside the house painted because we've just been putting it off for the last year and a half, 2 years. I don't even know at this point. About a year and a half, I guess. And we picked up the paint for the living room and hallways earlier today. So that's something I thought I was going to come home and do today yet. I didn't. I would like to do it tomorrow, except I think tomorrow's the best day to go start painting outside. So again, we're going to see how all this plays out. I made a deal with Sean that if all the painting gets done, because he basically wanted to make sure that I get it done pretty quickly instead of it being drug out. I know it can get done pretty quickly because it's something we used to do a lot. I get to start decorating for Christmas as soon as all the painting is done. Don't hate me. I am that person. I will decorate for Christmas before Halloween if I'm given permission to. I will happily start decorating anytime in November. Typically, I wait until Thanksgiving Day or the day after, just depending, to truly decorate. But this year, I think we're going to do it early. So we'll see. Now, granted, if we end up listing the house here in the next couple of weeks, I obviously won't be doing that. But I don't actually see that happening until after the start of the year. But guys, we make plans and God laughs. So I try not to make too many big plans like that because it'll happen when it's supposed to happen, if it's supposed to happen. Okay, this video's gotten too long. This is our latest life update for our crazy family, our crazy crew. I did not mention that our van has been fixed from all the hail damage that we got in June. We finally got that back here just a couple weeks ago. Our roof that had a hole in it from that same hail, we patched that hole right away. The roofer has been given half of the money up front, which if he wasn't a neighbor, I would have seriously questioned doing that. Supposedly, the supplies were supposed to be in 3 days ago. We have not heard from him yet, but that roof is supposed to be going on. Since it is mid-October, guys, at South Dakota, we have the chance of winter starting any day. I heard earlier today that there was snow up in the northern hills. Doesn't mean a whole lot down here. Guys, we had snow, a month ago? It coated the ground one day. Just random. Just happened. But I want to try to make sure that we have that roof on before winter really hits, because, yeah, that's important. Those are the other big updates, I think. I'm pretty sure. Anyhow, I hope that you guys enjoy watching these updates. And if you want to see more vlogs or anything like this, leave that in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I typically stick primarily to food and budgeting, as well as helpful household tips like recipes and how to use certain appliances, which I am happy to keep doing. I've kind of hit a pause on it, though, because I'm really not sure what all to show people. Because some things seem really basic, but I don't know what people know to use or need help figuring out. I'm happy to help wherever I can, if I can. I try. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. Leave a comment in the comment section down below about what is the most shocking part of this entire update for you, or what you saw coming before maybe I did. In the meantime, I hope that you're having a blessed day. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss everything else coming up next. And I'll see you in the next one.